Hello everyone, a very warm good evening to one and all present over here. I am back with another really interesting video with you guys. So as you all know, we have already completed our listening part 1 and today we are here to complete the entire overall listening module. Before we get started, I just want to know how you guys are doing, how have you been? Is it everything okay? How your studies going on? Please let me know so that we can start ahead with the session. Hi Vishal, very good evening. Oh, that's great, amazing. बढ़िया, चलो, be quick, guys. Let's get started with the listening module. ठीक है? Okay, so before we get started, I actually want to ask you one thing. The thing that we covered yesterday, day before yesterday, that was listening part 1. Was that clear to everyone? Hi Jay, very good evening. Was that clear to everyone? Hi. Yeah, I get it. You're from Nepal. I get it. Fine. Hi Shanu, good evening. चलो स्टार्ट करते हैं. Hi Sayash, good evening. ठीक है? Hi Sumit. Okay, was it clear? Great, amazing. Hi, good. It's not good morning. It's good evening. चलो, okay. So basically, let's get started. So today we are going to deal with listening part 2, 3 and 4. ठीक है? So let's get started and let's understand how we are going to deal with part 3 and 4. 2, 3 and 4 in fact. Okay, so let's get started. So if I'm going to talk about listening part 2, it is a monologue. So basically in listening part 2, you get one person who goes on with the entire speaking and there's this one person who goes on with the entire, presentation of the entire transcript. Okay, so the topic is usually social or everyday. So monologue का मतलब होता है, there's this one person who goes on with, ma'am, you should know your videos are very famous in Pakistan. My friends from Lahore also see the video. अच्छा, आपकी क्लास लेने के लिए सो के उठे. अच्छा, ओ डेडिकेशन. अरे बाप रे, इतने डेडिकेशन से पढ़ाई कर लो जरा तुम लोग एक बारी बस. Nepali, how to purchase IELTS course by PW. You can get the link in the description. You can get in touch with our team so that you can get yourself enrolled in our course. I told you already. चलो, अब पढ़ाई कर लो जरा. अब सो के उठ गए हो तो पढ़ाई कर लो. Now, a tour guide explaining a place. So, these are some of the possible scenarios that you guys can get. A person giving information about an event, instructions or directions. A presentation about community service. So, these are some of the possible scenarios. These are some of the possible situations that you guys can encounter in listening part 2. So listening part 1 may we get like there was a conversation between two people that was about to tell you about the reservations that have been made, and in part 2 we are going to cater to a monologue that basically tells you about some of the situations that are here. Okay? Good evening Shada, very good evening. हाँ, I get it where you guys are from. अब पढ़ाई कर लोगे, चलो. Chalo, okay. Now, what to expect? So, what exactly we need to expect from listening part 2? You will hear one speaker and a recording lasts for about 3 to 4 minutes. Now, I'm not gonna say that, I'm not gonna commit ki recording itne time tak hi rahegi, but still, I can just give you an idea by saying that it lasts about 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, good evening. Questions are usually map, diagram completion, sentence completion, short note and table completion. So these are some of the questions you usually... I felt a little drowsy in the cold. Oh, Okay, take care of yourself. The weather is changing. I'm also feeling a little bit under the weather. It's been a week now. So yes, I know how it feels. So please take care of you guys, of yourselves. चलो ठीक है, आगे बढ़ते हैं. नाउ इंट्रोडक्शन टू आईएस लिसनिंग पार्ट 3. पार्ट 2 में हमने देखा कि वी आर गोइंग टू गेट अ मोनोलॉग, दैट इज वन पर्सन हु विल बी एक्सप्लेनिंग एवरीथिंग. एंड नाउ लेट्स मूव टू पार्ट 3. नाउ पार्ट 3 इज a kind of part where we are going to have a conversation between 2 to 3 people discussing about something. So basically usually an academic context. So आप देख सकते हो कि आपको पार्ट 3 में मिल सकता है कि there are 2 to 3 students who might be talking about their presentation, who might be talking about the course that they have pursued, who might be talking about their college courses, the syllabus, or maybe something with related to academics or something. ठीक है, this is something that you guys can expect. Okay. Ma'am, how's your fever? I'm doing really well right now. For past 2 to 3 days, I was actually not doing very good, but now I'm feeling okay. Thank you so much for asking. Yeah, I'm feeling good now. Okay. Chalo, student discussing a project, a group planning research, a student or tutor having a meeting. Okay? These are some of the situations that you guys can get in part 3. ठीक है, आगे बढ़ते हैं. What to expect? More complex vocabulary and advanced idea. देखो थोड़ा सा ना यहाँ पे pace भी increase हो जाती है. Pace of the audio increases. ठीक है, so part 1 तो ठीक है, पार्ट 2 भी ठीक ही है, बट पार्ट 3 से थोड़ा पेस इंक्रीज होना शुरू हो जाता है. नाउ द क्वेश्चन टाइप्स दैट यू कैन एक्सपेक्ट इज मल्टीपल चॉइस क्वेश्चन, मैचिंग इंफॉर्मेशन, choosing from the list, and selecting options. So these are some of the major questions that you guys what happened to you, ma'am? I was not feeling well, that's the reason. Why are you sick? I'm sick because of the change in weather. Chalo. Okay, now so now let's move to introduction to part 4. So basically there is nothing very very important to tell you, as I have already told you a lot of things. So part 1 mein again I'm going to do a little bit kind of research and development in the entire part of your listening module, and I'm going to brief it up over here so that you guys can have an idea. Is it same for general and academic? Yes, it's absolutely same for general and academic. Listening में you barely see any difference between general and academic. Reading में दिख जाता है difference हल्का सा. Writing में तो major difference दिखता है. Speaking में भी difference नहीं दिखता है. So basically speaking and listening are two of the modules जहाँ पे आपको उसमें difference नहीं दिखेगा about the general and academic IELTS का. ठीक है? Good. Now what this part is about? So part 4 is about lecture style monologue. The topic is academic but still understandable without special knowledge. Example, a talk on pollution, a lecture about animal behavior, an explanation on scientific historical concept. Okay? So these are some of the things that you can encounter in part 4. Now let's understand what to expect. One speaker delivering continuous information. This is something you guys can expect. Also, no pauses for interaction. Information जो होती है वो बहुत dense होती है. So when I talk about part 4, so if you guys know कि आपको 30 second का timer मिलता है, so before every 5 question or 4 question, before every 4 to 5 question आपको 30 second का timer मिलता है, so that you guys can revise, or you can say basically read the question. ठीक है? But after 10 questions, so 10 questions after every 10 रुको, hold on. After every 10 questions you get 30 seconds, right? ये 30 seconds आपको मिलते हैं revision के लिए. ठीक है? ओके, अब बात ये कि मैंने क्यों बताया, मैंने इसलिए बताया बिकॉज यू नीड टू मेक श्योर कि आपको जो टाइम फ्रेम दिया जा रहा है यू आर सपोज टू यूटिलाइज इट प्रॉपर्ली. ठीक है? सो यहाँ पे जो 30 सेकेंड मिल रहा है टू रीड द क्वेश्चन, अब क्योंकि इट सेज दैट द इंफॉर्मेशन इज डेंस, इट इज इम्पॉर्टेंट कि आप क्वेश्चन को प्रॉपर्ली रीड करो. इफ यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू डू दैट, डेफिनेटली आपको इशू फेस होना ही होना है विदाउट अ सेकेंड थॉट. ठीक है. So if you guys are not going to pay severe attention to the question, then definitely you guys are going to pay for it by losing your marks. Okay, so it's important, now that we got to know that the information is dense, it's important for you guys to read the questions carefully. Questions often include notes, summary completion, table, flowchart completion, sentence completion. These are some of the, part or the question types that you can expect in your examination for part 4. Clear? Chalo. Let's talk about common misheard words in IELTS listening. जो आप गलती करते हो, that I have also told you in part 1 जब मैं part 1 कर रही थी. Now let's understand. So the very first mistake that you guys usually make is numbers and similar sounding digit. These are the most commonly confused numbers: 13 and 30, 14 and 40, 15 and 50, and so on. So here are some of the numbers that you guys usually make a lot of mistake on. Okay, okay. Now, speakers reduce or stress syllables differently. So, for example, for teen number, they stress the second syllable, while TY number stress the first. Okay? 16. Okay? 30. So, basically, you can see, I know there's very thin difference between teen and T, but still you need to understand because it includes accent. So I understand problem ho sakti hai, but you need to develop that practice. You need to develop that understanding. You need to develop that, understanding of how different accent has their different pronunciation to cater to. ठीक है? चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. Let's move ahead. And now let's talk about homophones. These are the most commonly confused. Sun and sun. अब basically हो क्या रहा है? Sun and sun, see, one, wait, sail, break, right, here and here. Basically, अब बात ये आती है कि मैम इसमें difference कैसे पता करें कि which one the speaker is trying to tell us. So, इसमें the only one method to identify the difference is based on the context. Excuse me. Basically, अब सन की बात हो रही है तो ऑफ कोर्स हम सूरज की बात क्यों करेंगे? अगर ओशन या सी की बात हो रही है तो हम देखने वाली सी की बात क्यों करेंगे? अगर हम एक न्यूमेरिकल टर्म की बात कर रहे हैं तो हम जीतने की बात क्यों ही करेंगे? सो बेसिकली इट्स वेरी मच अलाइन टू कंटेक्स्ट. तो आप कंटेक्स्ट क्या यूज हो रहा है आपके क्वेश्चन में, आपका जो क्वेश्चन है उसका सेंटेंस क्या है, उस सेंटेंस का कंटेक्स्ट क्या है, वो मैटर करता है. उस हिसाब से you will be able to bifurcate and segregate them based on their meaning. Then only you will be able to understand. ठीक है? अब हम बात करते हैं further similar sounding words के बारे में, not exactly complete homophones. So basically we've got cap, cup, ship, sheep, pool, pull, cat, cut, fit, feet. Now here, basically these are some of the similar sounding words, but at the end of the day there is still a difference between both of them. So ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको cup या cap में फर्क नहीं पता चलेगा या full या fool में फर्क नहीं पता चलेगा. They do have similar sound, but at least they have identifiable difference between them, which is quite understandable. We need to read the sentence. Of course you need to read the sentence, because until and unless you're not going to read sentence, it will be very difficult for you guys to deal with the entire question. Audio शुरू होने से पहले it's very important for you guys to understand what's there in the question. आपको आंसर किस चीज का करना है? Okay? Ma'am, why do I feel like something is wrong with your behavior? What have I done? Did I do something wrong? Okay, now, ठीक है, full, fool, walk, work, bird, beard, sheet, seat, park, bag. So basically these are some of the words, ठीक है, जिसके pronunciation तो अलग है, थोड़े बहुत तो हैं of course, not exactly same है, but yes, but अगर हम इसको in accent if we try to listen to it, in accent if we try to hear it, definitely they might, the kind of difference जो आपको अभी लग रहा है with me having an Indian accent, the difference might get vanish when it's gonna come to, you know, a different kind of what you can call it, a different kind of accent. ठीक है, so accent might change it. Okay, so we just have to be very well aware of कि हमें क्या मिल रहा है, what are the things we need to take care. सबसे पहले तो numbers भी include हो रहे हैं, words भी include हो रहे हैं, also क्या कहते हैं, pronunciation भी included है, multiple accent भी included है. So basically there are multiple things that you guys can, you know, you have to pay attention. चलो, many students miss the S sound. Book, books. Student, ये बहुत common mistake है that you guys usually do in your listening. Try not to do this. If you know, अब जैसे table completion question है, ठीक है? Table completion question में half of the information already mention होती है and half of the information आपको mention करनी होती है, right? So when those half of the information which is already mentioned, अगर उसमें हम plural वर्ड्स की बात कर रहे हैं, ऑफ कोर्स हमारे आंसर में प्लूरल आना ही आना है. सो यू नीड टू मेक श्योर कि आप क्वेश्चंस कितने अच्छे से पढ़ रहे हो, टू विच आपको आंसर्स कितने अच्छे से मिल रहे हैं. अगर क्वेश्चन में प्लूरल है एंड दैट इज व्हाट द सीक्वेंस यू गाइज आर फॉलोइंग, देन आंसर में भी प्लूरल फॉर श्योर होना ही होना है. स्टिल एक बारी चेक कर लेना, एक बारी यू नो सुन लेना ऑडियो को एंड देन टेक योर डिसीजन वाइजली. ठीक है, चलो ओके. बढ़ते practice की तरफ. Now let's go ahead and I'll be playing the audio. You guys will be writing the answer and let me know in the comment section what the answer is. Okay?
You will hear a woman talking to a group of students about volunteering opportunities with her company, Time Abroad. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14. Now listen and answer questions 11 to 14.
Okay, everyone. Thanks for coming today and for your interest in volunteering abroad. For those that don't know much about our company, Time Abroad, let me start by telling you a bit more. Time Abroad is one of the largest volunteer abroad organisations in the UK. The company was founded in 2000. In 2007, the company grew by joining with another company, PT Travel, making us even larger. In 2014, we sent 10,000 people abroad on a variety of service projects and internships overseas, more than any other company. All participants receive the best support from our full-time professional staff to ensure that the experience is safe, worthwhile, and fun. We have lots of very experienced staff working for us. We have around 150 full-time staff members, many of whom are former volunteers themselves, inspired by their own experience. Some of these people are even part of the original groups of volunteers back in the early 90s. About 75 of those staff are not located in the UK at all, and spend their whole time in another country supporting the volunteers. They are experts on the local communities you are working in, having spent their whole lives there. They have vast experience in fields such as community development or education. The times that volunteers join the programme vary a lot. Some join in July because they have just finished studying at college or university and want to do some volunteering before they move on to work or further study. The winter months are also popular because people want to escape the cold weather in the UK. But there are no set start dates, and programmes run continuously throughout the year, so the majority of volunteers start when it is best for them. Time Abroad is an entirely independent organisation, which does not receive any funding from religious bodies, political parties, development organisations, or other sources. And of course, we don't request money from our partner organisations in the developing world. All our work is 100% funded through your contributions as a volunteer. We do get help from the government, but that is from reduced business taxes, not financial contributions. It is this financial independence that gives us the freedom to set up projects wherever we think it may be useful, and where we think that our volunteers can make a valuable contribution.
Before listening to the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 15 to 20. Now listen to questions 15 to 20.
Now I'm going to tell you about some of the more popular opportunities in a bit more detail. One of the most popular volunteering choices is teaching. You'll find a warm welcome awaits you from our students around the world. The main thing you will do is assisting with English conversation, because although the local teachers are very capable of teaching the structural aspects of the English language, such as the grammar, they do not use the correct intonation or pronunciation, because they lack the confidence of a native speaker. By providing conversational English teaching, you can greatly enhance the learning experience of thousands of children and adults with whom we work in the developing world. You can also volunteer in agriculture and farming. Access to safe and healthy food is a major concern of any society. Volunteers work on a farm with the aim of promoting sustainable local food sources and responsible farming. Using pesticides and other destructive agricultural techniques can have a long-term negative impact on the environment and threaten the future well-being of whole regions. Time Abroad's agricultural and farming projects focus on organic farming practices and educating local communities on their benefits. You could also volunteer in the field of veterinary medicine. If you do this, you will be working alongside a vet in a local veterinary practice. You will help the vet when people bring in sick animals, or join the vet on visits to people's houses or other places. You will gain fantastic insight that would not be possible in your own country. You are likely to see many exciting types of animals, like snakes, big cats, or even elephants. And you will develop a better understanding of the problems people are faced with in both urban and rural areas of the third world. So, I hope that's helped you to learn a bit more about time abroad. Does anybody have any questions?
Three. You will hear a woman asking a tutor for more information about a media studies course at a university. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 25.
I'm looking for some advice about doing a master's degree in media studies. Am I at the right place?
Yes, my name's Mark. I'm head of the Media Studies course. Nice to meet you. And you are?
I'm Louise. Nice to meet you too.
So how can I help you?
Well, I've seen the prospectus for the course, but I'm still a bit confused about a few things, and about some of the options for studying.
What's your situation at the moment? Are you working?
Yes, I've been working as a journalist for a local newspaper for the last 3 months. Prior to that, I had 2 jobs in the media, at a small local radio station for about 2 years, and at a TV station for about 4 years. So I've worked in media for about 6 years in total.
Okay, well that's useful if you want to do the course. What's your motivation to do further study?
I enjoy my job a lot at the moment, but I feel the opportunities for promotion are quite limited. It's not that I think a master's will help with this, though. I'll probably leave my job, maybe to go into TV or something. But basically, I think wherever I end up going in the future, employers prefer to see someone with postgraduate qualifications these days.
And are you intending to study full-time?
Well, I'd really like to keep working as I need an income. What are the options for me if I want to work while studying?
You could do certain modules over a number of years if you like. It's up to you how many you do. Basically, you get credits for the ones that you complete. People usually do the Masters in anything from 18 months up until 4 years. It depends on your time. If you wanted a fixed schedule and attendance and did it part-time, then that would be a total of 3 years.
So what's the admission criteria to join the course?
Well, there are a few things that are useful but not essential. But there are some requirements. Usually, to join a Masters, people must have a bachelor's degree. But we are prepared to overlook this if someone has enough work experience. But you must have one or the other. It's useful if you have research experience, as you have to complete a thesis, but we can train you on this if not. It is essential that you have motivation if you want to join the course, as it is very demanding.
Before listening to the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 26 to 30. Now listen carefully and answer questions 26 to 30.
What about the costs for the course?
The fees for a year, if you are studying part-time, are £2,250. No, sorry, they've gone up this year, £2,400. Of course, you are paying for all other living costs.
Is there any kind of bursary or scholarship available to help with the fees?
Yes, there are things available, but you have to meet the criteria to get funding. Often, though, the university will actually contact you about funding. Universities have a certain budget available to provide funds, so they will look for the best students and offer them something if they think they will be suitable. You would have to have a firm offer in place to join the course, though, before you'd be considered for any funding.
Where can I go to find out more about it?
The best place to look for information about funding is on our university website. All the details about whether you're eligible, what help is on offer, and how to apply will be there. If you can't find the information you're looking for, you can always come and speak to us again, and there will be a number you can ring.
Okay, thanks for that. And is it easy to get hold of you if I need to speak to you further?
Yes, I'm here most days, but you can always phone the office first to check. It's best to book an appointment in case I'm not around.
You are going to hear a lecture about Indian Railways. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
In today's lecture, we're going to be talking about the history of Indian railways, from when they began up until 1945, when they had all been taken over by the government. Indian Railways is an Indian state-owned enterprise, owned and operated by the Government of India through the Ministry of Railways. It is one of the world's largest railway networks, comprising of 115,000 kilometers of track over a route of 65,000 kilometers, and there are 7,500 stations. It transports over 25 million passengers daily, which is over 9 billion on an annual basis. Indian Railways is the world's 9th largest commercial or utility employer by number of employees, with over 1.4 million employees. The history of rail transport in India began in the mid-19th century. The core of pressure for building railways in India came from London. In 1848, there was not a single kilometer of railway line in India. A British engineer, Robert Maitland Brereton, was responsible for the expansion of the railways from 1857 onward. The Allahabad to Jabalpur branch line of the East Indian Railway had been opened in June of 1867. Brereton was responsible for linking this with the Great Indian Peninsula Railway, resulting in a combined network of 6,400 kilometers. Hence, it became possible to travel directly from Bombay to Kolkata. This route was officially opened on the 7th of March of 1870, and it was part of the inspiration for French writer Jules Verne's book, Around the World in 80 Days. At the opening ceremony, the Viceroy Lord Mayo concluded that if possible, at the earliest possible moment, the whole country should be covered with a network of lines in a uniform system. By 1875, about £95 million were invested by British companies in Indian railways. By 1880, the network had a route mileage of about 14,500 kilometers, mostly radiating inward from the three major port cities of Bombay, Madras, and Kolkata. By 1895, India had started building its own locomotives, and in 1896 sent engineers and locomotives to help build the Ugandan railways. In 1900, the Great Indian Peninsula Railway became a government-owned company. The network spread to the modern-day states of Assam, Rajasthan, and Andhra Pradesh, and soon various autonomous kingdoms began to have their own rail systems. In 1905, an early railway board was constituted, but the powers were formally vested under Lord Curzon, the then Viceroy of India. It served under the Department of Commerce and Industry and had a government railway official serving as chairman, a railway manager from England, and an agent of one of the company railways as the two other members. For the first time in its history, the railways began to make a profit. In 1907, almost all the rail companies were taken over by the government. The following year, the first electric locomotives made its appearance. With the arrival of World War I, the railways were used to meet the needs of the British outside India, but with the end of the war, the railways were in a state of disrepair and collapse. In 1920, with the network having expanded to 61,220 kilometers, a need for central management was mooted by Sir William Ackworth, a British railway economist. Based on the East India Railway Committee chaired by Ackworth, the government took over the management of the railways and detached the finances of the railways from other governmental revenues. The period between 1920 and 1929 was a period of economic boom. There were 66,000 kilometers of railway lines serving the country. The railways represented a capital value of some 687 million sterling, and they carried over 620 million passengers and approximately 90 million tons of goods each year. Following the Great Depression, the railways suffered economically for the next 8 years, and the Second World War severely crippled the railways. Starting in 1939, about 40% of the rolling stock, including locomotives and coaches, was taken to the Middle East. The railways' workshops were converted to ammunitions workshops, and many railway tracks were dismantled to help the Allies in the war. By 1946, all rail systems had been taken over by the government.
End of IELTS Buddy Listening Test. Section 4.
Okay. What has happened so far? Yes, you guys have answered it really good. Amazing. बहुत बढ़िया. Spatial learning experience, responsible organic, academic understanding. Nice. Quite impressive. Nice. So this is how you guys are supposed to solve it. And I believe this was not that hard for you guys because I believe this is very easy. I have intentionally taken the easiest one for you guys so that you'll be able to solve it. And here are the answers. I hope you guys have got all the answers, and the way you have solved it, I really appreciate it. Great job. Amazing. Badhiya. And that's all. So by this, we have came at the end of the session, and I really want to thank you guys for being here and to participate in the session. And I really like the way you guys have answered all the questions. I'm really impressed by it. And also, I believe you guys might have understood by now that how you are going to go ahead with the entire listening module, because we have completed all the 4 of them, and now you got have an idea कि part 1 कैसा होता है, part 2 कैसा होता है, part 3 and part 4 कैसा होता है. ऑल्सो कैसे क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, हाउ द एक्सेंट इज, हाउ द प्रोनाउंसिएशन इज, कौन कौन से मिसहर्ड वर्ड्स हो सकते हैं, एंड व्हाट ऑल पार्ट्स यू गाइस कैन गेट डिस्ट्रैक्टेड. ओके. Okay, so we are leaving for today and we'll see you in the next session. Till then, take care. Bye-bye. We'll see you in the next session. Bye, and all the very best to all the students who are preparing for their IELTS examination. Bye. Take care. Have a great day ahead.